of this continent. Wow. Through us, the light in her heart is spreading through all the countries of this continent. I have a great design on these people. They please me with their simplicity and their devotions, their great poverty, their humility and patience. With this, I wish to bring you to a message given to Our Lady to Teresing Castillo, the seer in Lipa, that I think echoes as well the message to Father Gobi. The enemy of God is always where my children pray to me. This country was created by God for something great. In the midst of this pandemic, this is me now, and all the uncertainty and turmoil in our country, which Father Dennis has said is growing at such a very fast pace, let us be buoyed by these consoling words. But you know what? We, the Filipino people, must do something for her. And here is where she gives very specific instruction. This is what she asks of us. So Our Lady speaks. I want you to consecrate yourselves to me on the 7th of October and become my beloved slaves. Now, when we say slaves, we mean that we're totally possessed by her. She lives in us. She acts in us. We are hers 24/7. She goes on, pray hard, for China's dream is to invade the whole world. The Philippines is one of its favorite. Money is the evil force that will lead the people of the world to destruction. Now, when Our Lady says China, she certainly does not mean the Chinese people, for all people are very dear to her. In fact, she is the Lady of all nations. She means an ideology that Father Dennis had mentioned, communism that obliterates faith in God, and any God for that matter. Currently, we see the ethnocide of the Muslim Uyghurs. They are Chinese too. They are called Uyghurs, Muslim Chinese. Then too, we see lately suppression of Catholics going on in China. So there's a beautiful and interesting story I wish to share with you, one that to this day simply amazes me. I am spellbound, completely enthralled with how Our Lady directed the turn of events so that on Chinese soil in Nanjing, a Catholic church was constructed under the auspices of Metrobank chairman and founder George T. and its right hand Solomon Kua. That church's name in Chinese is Our Lady of the Magnificat. Solomon explains it to me, it also means Mary the Queen. That the Chinese authorities allowed it. That an 8-foot statue of Our Lady of Mediatrix of all grace stands at the right of the altar is a great wonder. Our Lady's wish was fulfilled. This is what Mother Teresa tells me of Lipa, 3 times Mother Superior. From Lipa, where she manifested her presence and made known her message, she went to bring to China, her Chinese people, her motherly love, a love that saves, a love that wishes to bring her children back to her Son, the one true God. Now, this consecration will require much prayer and sacrifice. It's going to take a lot of hard work. But let me continue the story. The story, as I say, doesn't end yet. In 2013, when the Nanjing Church was blessed, Mother Teresa of Carmel Lipa went to the library. Beautiful, listen to this. She picked out a book Oh, by the way, she was invited to the inauguration of the church, but being Carmelite, she didn't go. So she went to the library instead and picked out a book. And between the pages, she found, have you guessed? A rose petal. There on the rose petal was the image of Our Lady. Our Lady of Nanjing. The Mediatrix of all grace that is now, as I said, standing at the right side of the altar. You know, when they saw this miracle, the sisters jumped up and down, miracle, miracle. It's the same way they were shouting up and down with the shower of petals in 1948 in Lipa. And no one can say this is a hoax or invention of the sisters. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. There you go. Can you see that? Is that clear? Che, is this clear?
Yes,
You
perfect.
see thank you, Che. You see a rosary traversing left to the right hands of Our Lady. The story is a sister of Lipa made the rosary a bit too long, and it became a problem because if that rosary hang from one side, like here, right? You see it hanging from one side, that rosary would touch the floor. So right there in Nanjing, where what Solomon Kua, George T's right hand, did was to let it hang across. Here you go. Do you see it? And that is really how Our Lady, can you see Our Lady? Over here? There's the cross traversing left to right. And is the only mediatrix of all grace, no? All Lipa statues of her would be having the rosary on one of her hands and not on her two hands. So it's unique, no? There's no hoax here. As how could you naman come up with what kind of an instrument or tool to impress that image on a rose petal, which was like two events happening simultaneously in Nanjing and as sister walked into the library. So let me show you more pictures. I showed you the rose petal. I would like to show you, I showed you this altar in Nanjing. I'd like to show you what the church looks like outside. So here you go. What a beautiful church, isn't it? That's a missionary lady here in the foreground. Beautiful church. I hope to visit it one day. And the cute little Mother Teresa. There she is. There she is. That's Mother Teresa. And there she is. She's showing the rose petals she found in the book. And I love this. Who's praying there? That's Pope Francis praying before Our Lady, the Mediatrix of all grace, when he visited the Philippines during the Yolanda devastation. And this is Pope Francis being given the image of Our Lady by Father Alan J. And Pope Francis is making a gesture of kissing Our Lady. It's beautiful, isn't it? So now, let's go back. Let this story compel us to start moving each day that leads to October 7. How many days do we have left? A little more than a month. For ourselves. Not only for ourselves, but for our brethren in China. For their conversion and for the protection of our country from domination by any foreign rule, the scepter of the red dragon. By the way, a little information. October 7 commemorates the victory of Our Lady in the Battle of Lepanto, of a puny Spanish fleet against the formidable armada of the invading Turks in October 7, 1571. And so on October 7, we will celebrate this wonderful triumph. And it is entitled the Feast Day of Our Lady of Rosary because the puny Spanish fleet had one great unbeatable weapon. And what that was, the Holy Rosary. So ominous clouds are up ahead. We're living in this time of the pandemic, and we have all these dangers steadily, encroaching on us. As Father said, at a rate, a pace we have never seen before. But let's take heart, for the one who leads us is relentless. She is a mother who goes to war for the sake of her people she loves. She loves us. She loves all nations. The woman clothed with the sun, whose heel will crush the head of Satan. Perhaps beginning this day, as Brother Ed Saul has already witnessed to you, we could pray this beautiful prayer, which is in your kit too. And every word, as Brother Ed Saul said, dictated to him by Our Lady. Let me read you portions of the beautiful prayer here at the back. Brother Ed Saul will permit me. O faithful daughter of the Father, majestic queen of heaven and earth, you whose humble yes, a direct affront to the pride and arrogance of Satan, did receive the power and commission to crush the head of the ancient serpent. Wherefore we humbly beseech you, sweet Mother of the Incarnate Word, send forth the legions of heavenly hosts, that with Saint Michael the Archangel, they may seek out all the evil spirits, engage them everywhere in battle, now in these end times, and draw them back into the pit of hell. Whew. I've touched on the cenacle, the consecration, the message to us from Our Lady, Mediatrix of all grace, or we fondly call Our Lady of Lipa, and the beautiful prayer by Brother Ed Saul as part of the end times kit. So now, let me take you to the tilma. Yes. And to the tilma and the 3 healing oils. Now this tilma, it'll come in a little pack like this. Let me unfold, take it out, and unfold it, and unfurl her beautiful image. This was through the inspiration of Father Justine to us, given also to Kelly, one of our little platoon. She's a member there too. We're just really a very informal platoon, just probably a little more than 10. There she goes. Right, and you see the consecration, the short consecration prayer at the bottom. So you can call it a pocket tilma because it's small enough to roll and put in your handbag,